Tirumalaivaaka Shri Venkateswaran Shri Padmanabha Purushottama Vasudeva Janardana Shankachakra Gadadhari Srinivasa Govinda 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 Srinivasa Venkatesa Srinivasa Venkatesa Sridhana Paripala Govinda Srinivasa Venkatesa Tirupati Girivasa Govinda Garuda Vahana Govinda 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 Venkatesa Govinda 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 Venkatesa Govinda 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 Pattinivasa Govinda 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 Pattinivasa Govinda Srinivasa Venkatesa.
Good afternoon. We're just a few minutes late, but the rain god sort of moved us in here, and I hope all of you will be able to enjoy what we have put together here. We are here to celebrate a beautiful person who has left a lasting impression on us. Of course, we will all miss her, but I'm sure up there, God has opened out His arms with love and taken her in. And I'm sure she has a huge fan club up there. I'm sure all of us agree that. Yes? Yes. Usha had friends all over the globe. They have all been shocked to know that Usha has moved on her heavenly journey and have paid tributes to her beauty, her grace, her loving self, etc. Some of our friends are here in person and some of them would like to pay their respects. So, shall we start with Usha's friends? Ms. Teresa, would you like to start?
With a very sound knowledge and understanding of both national and international affairs. Mrs. Venkateswaran, that is Usha, was a lovely, talented lady, well educated and enlightened, who carried herself with remarkable dignity and grace. As the wife of a Foreign Service officer, she had the opportunity to live in several countries in different parts of the world. And she had the interest and curiosity to reach out beyond the routine social duties of a diplomat's wife to try to understand and absorb the rich variety of artistic and cultural practices of the different places where her husband had been posted. As a trained dancer, she also incorporated some of the elements of local dance styles in her own repertoire, particularly the Russian ballet. She was very friendly and open-minded, and I've never ever heard her showing any kind of pettiness or gossip in any of our group interactions over the 20 years that we used to meet. And she was also a superb cook. We all remember her creatively assembled salads, which were particularly delightful. She invited me also to join her on the governing body of the Natya Lakshana Academy, through which she organized a variety of dance programs that she herself conceptualized and directed. It was not always easy to put together the required talent, the venue, the sponsors, and the right kind of audience. But Usha was not only a highly creative perfectionist, she was also an eternal optimist, and things usually worked out, often with a little help from her husband. I particularly remember a program that she brought out during the Tagore centenary year, in which she choreographed dances in different styles, Kathak, Bharatanatyam, Kathakali and so on, presenting Tagore's poems about the different seasons. And my husband, who is a Bengali, took particular pleasure in translating the poems into English for the help of both Usha and the dancers. Apart from this, for a few years, I used to meet up with Usha and her friends once a week as part of a bridge group. Nargis is here, she is member. I was a very occasional player, but Usha was very regular. And they played very friendly, light-hearted games of bridge. All in all, Usha believed in living a full life with all its colors and textures, all its ups and downs. And above all, she faced her final illness with courage and determination, kept up with her weekly bridge group. Even though she couldn't hold the cards, she made it a point to be there, and she attended social functions without any pretense, with her characteristic dignity and style. May her soul rest in peace.
Thank you. Mrs. Nargis, would you like to say a few words?
I'm not a very good speaker, but I have known Usha since for 20 years, and we used to play bridge together, and we used to enjoy each other's company so much. It's very hard to digest that she's no more. I will remember her forever because we have exchanged so much information about each other. Our lives are out of India and in India, and we had a tremendous relationship. And we definitely, my husband and myself, will miss her a lot. May her soul rest in peace. She's always been very, very good to us, and we have enjoyed her company tremendously.
Mrs. Geeta Patsar.
Yeah, I'm also not really prepared to say anything.
Closer, please.
But,
Closer to the mic.
I know Ushaji since my husband came back from his postings abroad after he retired, and I got to know her through Bridge and through our foreign service group where we used to meet once in a month for lunch. So she was always very graceful and very elegant, and then we always used to exchange a lot of stories and how we lived abroad and how we come back and how we are enjoyed being in India also. So I have although I knew her very briefly, but the impact that she's made on me has stayed with me forever. So today I just didn't want to miss it, I met her very few times, but I think we became very close. And she always used to tell me, please Geeta, come and spend a day with me here. It's very nice. She enjoyed being here. She was in BCM layout and I went and visited her while she was there. And then she moved over here, like I all know, but she was very happy. So just very fortunate to have spent time with her and got to know her. And may her soul rest in peace.
Thank you, ma'am. We now have a few friends from Atushri who would like to share some thoughts on our warm-hearted Usha. We'll begin with Dr. Shanta.
My association with Usha was not for very long, but she was one of the first people I came across after moving into Adashi. Such a gentle voice. She was like a gentle breeze.
Hold it higher up, please.
She was like a gentle breeze. She had such poise, and the way she would walk around so gracefully. Really, you could tell that she was a dancer at some point of time. But with association with the positive attitude, I had just about lost my husband and I was in a bad period. When she sort of consoled me and she told me life has to go on. And she lived as an example for that. You know how you could carry on with life, with whatever the problems. And even when illness struck her, she was still the same graceful and a really nice, lovely person. She always had a smile for everybody. I've not seen her talking harshly to anyone. And the soft spoken words of Usha shall always be with us. And the way she stoically, I should say, you know, the tenacity with which she put up with her illness was something to be admired. I wish we could all emulate her in the periods when we go across certain negative periods in our lives. She really looked at it with a positive thing. And I never seen her complain, oh yeah, I'm sick or anything of that sort. Very cheerful and beautiful person. She may not be among us now physically, but she'll remain in our hearts for several years to come. We should always remember her fondness and her grace and voice shall always be there to be remembered. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Shanta. I request Shamla to come forward, please.
All of us have so much to say about Usha. She made her way into our hearts in the few years that she was here. I thought I would read a couple of poems which reminded me so much of her when I read them. Can you hear me now? Okay. The first poem that I'm reading is maybe in Usha's voice. I'm going to read this. It's written by Helen Lodge Marshall. I'd like the memory of me to be a happy one. I'd like to leave an afterglow of smiles when my life is done. I'd like to leave an echo whispering softly down the ways of happy times and laughing times and bright and sunny days. I'd like the tears of those who grieve to dry before the sun, of happy memories that I leave when my life is done. I thought Usha might have wanted to say something like that.
Yes, 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 yes.
The second poem that I have for her is by somebody called David Harkins. Poem. You can shed tears that she is gone, or you can smile because she has lived. You can close your eyes and pray that she will come back, or you can open your eyes and see all that she has left. Your heart can be empty because you can't see her, or you can be full of the love that you shared. You can turn your back on tomorrow and live yesterday, or you can be happy for tomorrow because of yesterday. You can remember her and only that she's gone, or you can cherish her memory and let it live on. You can cry and close your mind, be empty and turn your back, or you can do what she would want, smile, open your eyes, love, and go on. That is my devotion.
I think each one of us believe that these two poems meant Usha. I mean, I'm positive this is what Usha would have wanted, and this is what Usha was. I'm going to request Mrs. Saroja Raman, but I would like her to sit where she is, and I don't want you to stand up. Okay? Right?
As you all know, we have assembled here to pay homage to one of our dearest friends who has been in Athasri with us for quite some time. As far as I am concerned, I have known Usha for a much longer time when we were colleagues at the Lady Reverend College in New Delhi. I had just graduated and I joined as a lecturer. And there she was, Usha, who was also on the staff on the home science department. And they, of the same age and kind of similar thoughts and all that thing. We were great friends. And pretty soon we were a small group of 4 or 5 girls, actually, not really ladies, amongst the other people who were there. And we had a great time there. And Usha, as you all know, was a very good dancer, extremely very good dancer. And she was always prepared to oblige anybody in without any worry about what the status was, what their knowledge was, or anything like that. And we used to have lovely times during our annual days at Lady Irwin. It was a great time, and there were a couple of times when she trained us all, the other younger staff, for a group dancing, and we really enjoyed. And there was one time after 2 3 years, we had to leave. I had to leave Lady Irwin because I had an assignment from another university college, Miranda House, for a higher post, and I was really reluctant to take even that, leaving Lady Irwin, because it was such a nice atmosphere there with all of us youngsters. Then after that, of course, I had not met her for a long time. But, and when we were Lady Irwin, she used to bring Usha, and she used to bring her daughter, and we all used to be so very obsessed with that little thing. 3 or 4, I think, at that time, not more than that. 2 only, okay. So we would all carry her around and make her miserable with our great love. And you will be surprised, when I got my daughter, I named her after her, Kalpana. Because I was so fascinated with that child and with that name, I wanted my daughter to be named as Kalpana. And so that way I can never forget Usha and her family. Now, when Usha was there in Irving, we used to have annual days where the staff used to prepare some items, like dance, skits, and things like that. And she used to prepare the younger ones for group dance, which was very much appreciated. Then the next year, I had to move on to Miranda House because I had a better chance there, and also more of my taste, chemistry, and things like that. And she was really unhappy.
You've switched off.
I was really unhappy. Still, better reasons I had to move over to Miranda House, but I could still never forget my lady. Though I had so much better times in other places and abroad.
Get the other mic, please. Sorry for the glitch, please. Yeah.
Yes, actually, I think I should feel proud that I have been one of the oldest friends of Usha in this group, because I have been with her ever since 1960s and all that thing. Then after that, we had kind of lost contact and all that thing. And later on, when my husband retired and we decided to come over to Sri, my husband, my brother's wife, Padmini, told me, Arahi, is here. I immediately knew who the Arahi was, because we used to call her Arahi. So pretty, so pretty, so pretty. I can't tell you, I have not met another person. I'm very frank, I'm telling you from my heart. I've never met a person so very charming and so very attractive. So I said, okay, take me to Arahi. I want to meet her and all. We went, and you know what Usha is about. You all know the other Syrians, how friendly she is and how delighted she was and how courteous she was and how I just can't forget that day when I first met her. Then after that, it's history, both positive and negative, mostly positive. And our heartfelt days were there when she was sick, but she never showed it. She always took it so very nicely and all that thing. And Usha was her colleague. We were all a group all together making quite a bit of noise. And Dr. Devalkar, our principal, was quite annoyed and amused because she was much older than us and she couldn't understand what our feelings were and all that thing. And time has gone. I have been in industry for 3 years. We have been with Usha. I have seen her good days. I have seen her smiles. I have seen all her emotions and all that thing. And my really bad days were when I had to see her sick, but she never showed it. She never complained. She didn't do anything. And in spite of all her problems, she was always Usha. Usha will remain Usha always, whatever it is in our life. It is a great time to have been here. And now again I see Usha, children and husband and all here, and it gives me great pleasure. And I'm sure someday I will make Usha someday. Quite sure about it. Thank you for giving me now.
Request our youngest member here, namely Devi, a dancer herself, who would like to say something about it.
The first time I glanced at you, dear Ushanti, you danced like a beautiful swan. Your delicate moves and matchless grace amazed me to believe that you were an extraordinary creation of blessedness. I felt inadequate, inexperienced for dancing of any kind, but your appreciation and encouragement comforted me and made me feel as though I was drawn to dance. With motherly affection, you fondly asked me, "When is your next performance?" When I think of you, I think of a lovely soul who believed in me more than I believed in myself. I danced at a recent function especially for you, my inspiration, my strength, my goddess of calm and serenity. I will always miss you, Auntie, now that you are in the heavenly abode in the protective care of Almighty. You will always live in my memory as a gentle dance guru with exquisite taste, living joyously every moment of your life, an epitome of dignity, poise, and beauty. You were loved, deeply revered by everyone here. Your kindness and patience endured the test of time. You showed us that no matter what labels we carried of fame or position, we must never lose touch with reality. All my love to Kalpana. You are a daughter every mother would like to own. Thank you, Atashri and Rama Auntie, for giving me an opportunity to express my feelings. I have often thought, especially in these last few days, how fortunate am I to have known you, Ushanti, and your wonderful family, who are now our family. And how proud Atashri must feel to have owned you, a treasure of talent and timeless elegance. I wish you eternal bliss and tranquility.
Devi, this is just beautiful. Because, and I should say, this is all her own words. Very well written, and I'm very I'm sure the family is really grateful for this lovely. I now request Mr. Lavapuri.
Friends, I don't have anything written, but what I'm going to say is from my heart. I know we can never forget Usha. We can never imagine a place where she's not there. In fact, even now, when I look at all of you, I remember Usha's.
Come forward a little.
Yeah. I remember Usha sitting in one of the chairs with a weeping smile on her face, in what Sanskrit we call Smita Hasya, a very sharing smile which she had. Anyway, we can't keep on remembering, as Shamla said, let's rejoice what we learned and enjoyed from Usha. So I'm going to give you a few thoughts on what I learned from Usha's association. But before that, I must pay my tribute to her husband Venkateswaran, whom I knew personally. At that time, I didn't know that I was going to meet his wife a few years later. But during our working days, I met Venkat a number of times in New York, in Beijing, and of course in Delhi. And each time, the kind of smile and the kind of joy I used to see in him is something which I found reflected in Usha. When I met Usha here, first time, little did I know that she was the wife of my friend Venkat. Anyway, this is the story of Venkat and Usha, which I will always remember in my life. I would like to identify three qualities which I learned from Usha and which I think all of us could emulate. The first one is about her passion. Her passion for dance was so immense that not only did she want to dance from Bharatanatyam to Bhakra or to ballroom dancing, but she wanted to teach, she wanted to promote. And she encouraged Atharshrians, particularly men, to come and dance in her classes. And I remember only two of us, me and Dhananjay, used to join her class. And the kind of things we learned from her, one of the things which I will never forget is the way she would tell us how men should walk. She would gracefully show her arms and how men should walk. And each time I walked in the corridor, I remember Usha and correct my stance and how one should walk. Usha's grace was really transformed in every action of hers. And that's a passion for her life. And the passion for dance is something which I think all of us should emulate. Second aspect was about her sense of decency, sense of artistry which was in her. Whenever it is writing a card or whether it is giving a gift, everything was something unique and the artistic, aesthetic sense was Usha. In fact, I used to make fun of her. Every time she would come in a new dress, and I would say, Usha, when will I see you wear the same dress next time? And she would say, it will be years before you see that. I mean, she had such a good sense of dress. And I used to admire that. That kind of aesthetic sense is something which I always associate. I enjoyed that aspect of her. Whether she's wearing a cap, whether she's wearing a pajama, whether she's wearing a sari. It was Usha, the aesthetic sense, which reflected in all her actions. Thirdly, which is a more emotional quality, both me and Sheila enjoyed that, was a friendship. Her concept of a friendship was very unique. I don't think we knew her that well to be great friends, but the little friendship we had from that, I can give you from an example. If I want to get something done from Sheila, my wife, I would tell Usha, could you ask Sheila to do this? And within few days, Sheila would do things which I had asked her and she had not done. So I asked Usha, I used to ask Usha, what is it that you do which makes her do things? Then she would say, Dankare, it is friendship. Friendship is the word which is used in such delicate way and with such love that bond of friendship between Sheila and Usha and through them, me, was unique. I used to love to go to their apartment and Usha would come out with Campari. That is the drink she introduced me to. Each time I would get she said, I'll bring you a drink. So Usha's love for aesthetic sense was something, and the friendship which she reflected was something which we'll never forget. I just want to share a card which you sent to Sheila. Sheila's birthday, my wife, Sheila's birthday and Usha's birthday fall very close, one after the other. And Usha would send a nice card to Sheila. And I'll read from this card what she wrote. Dear Sheila, happy birthday. Get younger every day. I want to dance with you. I love you, Usha. Now her passion for dance reflected in every word, every action she did. This is something which I think the friendship, the love, affection reflected in Usha, which impressed me most, very, very most. Finally, I would like to say a couplet which is in Marathi. I will translate it in English. My Marathi lovers would know this. It was written by a very famous philosopher, Vedic philosopher. And it was sung by Lata Mangeshkar later on. I won't sing it, can't sing it, but I'll let you know the words. The words say, Jo avadato sarvana, tochi avade devala. Jo avadato sarvana, tochi avade devala. Literal, not literal. Free translation would say, God loves one who is loved by everyone. Usha was one of that person. Usha was one who was loved by everyone. And say so, God loves her. That is the reason he has taken her away from us. But her memories, as Shamla reminded us, let's not cry over what she's gone. Let's remember memories and try to emulate those. Thank you, Usha, wherever you are. Thank you, Venkat, for making such friendship, which happened independently, but now they are together. And I wish them a long and happy life in wherever they are together. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Lavkare, and thank you for that lovely Marathi. I request Mrs. Nalini. Mrs. Nalini.
Can you hear me?
Come closer to the mic, please.
Hello? Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes.
Good evening, everybody.
Closer.
I remember in Reader's Digest, they had a column about an unforgettable character we met. Usha definitely would qualify for that tag on many people's list. She was not just beautiful, but had that kind of vibrancy and charming personality which could attract people of all ages and types towards her. We came to know her only in the later part of her colorful life and found her to be a fund of information, a great conversationalist who was able to hold her own on a variety of subjects, ranging from the sublime to sundry, pottery to politics, classical dance and music to cookery. She always had a mischievous twinkle in her eye and a good sense of humor. Her own upbringing, education, and later marriage gave her the opportunity to travel widely and come in contact with a wide spectrum of people. Her insatiable thirst for knowledge, as well as her being a performing artist to the core, encouraged her to learn not just newer and other dance forms from India and all over the world, but also imbibe their culture, language, and cooking, etc. Even in Atashri, she made valiant efforts to teach a group of us ladies who had more enthusiasm than ability or agility some basic dance steps and managed to choreograph a couple of dances for special functions. We very much enjoyed those practice sessions, but I'm sure it was quite a challenge for her to manage seniors with ego and age problems in a tactful manner and get our hands, feet, body, and face to coordinate. It must have been a far cry from teaching young students with a stern hand. Her one unfulfilled wish on her bucket list was to choreograph a folk dance with both the gents and ladies of Adashri. She was a very generous person, both in kind, with her time, and with appreciation of others. She gave many valuable inputs during the management committee meetings and canteen meetings when she was a member. She lived a full life and enjoyed her last days in Adashri, playing bridge with her friends, participating in all activities, and best of all, her family was with her. She was always very elegantly dressed, and even in her sickness, she made a style statement with her colorful headscarves and lovely skirts and kurtis. A lovely person for all reasons and seasons. I cannot help but compliment Kalpana, Alia, and Rama, who prepared Usha for us to bid our final farewell, looking as dignified, serene, and beautiful in death as she was in life. Rest in peace, but live in our hearts forever, dear Usha.
Thank you, Nalini. Padmini, would you like to come up or would I?
Usha, the Dawn. Not D-O-N, but D-A-W-N. She and I were schoolmates. She was much, much senior. But when we got to know that we are church Parkians, the first thing we sang was, "Under the green and gold." We belted out our school song, which we never forget. My first point of reference, whenever I saw Usha, was to zoom into her ears. I was always fascinated by her wonderful collection of earrings. She had them all: the silver, the gold, the bohemian, the antique, the stoned, the enamel, the filigree, and the meenakari, the bold and the subtle. And oh yes, her collection was just a reflection of her personality. Each one shining, shimmering, gleaming, beautiful as she was. She was charming, she was genteel, she was elegant. And at the same time, she could be a Hungarian gypsy in her brilliantly tapestried skirts. Her saris were Madras Mami. Her Delhi touch was her salwar kameezes. Her house was filled with Chinese vases, Russian samovars, Vedic figures, and heart-stopping works of art by world-famous artists. She was an artist herself, and her creative sensibility to choreograph her dance, her decor, or even her own outfits was truly remarkable. Usha loved baking banana cake, and she would ask me to drop by to taste her other special dishes. Loved pasta. Both of us, we were pasta friends. I can still taste the wonderful booty chocolates she distributed when she became a Kollupati or great-grandmother. She came to all of us at home and gave it, and you should have seen the joy in her face. That was a special day for all of us. Just before I left for the US, she visited us and wished us bon voyage. Her eyes gleamed with love, and her translucent paper skin revealed that her health was on a downside. Little did I know that that would be my last interaction with her. I and my other friends have lost a wonderful companion, a true and generous friend, a lovely lady who joined us in fun. Dearest Usha, you are with me in every dawn in my life. My deepest sympathies to Kalpana and Alia, and Usha's family and hundreds of her friends from all over the world. And life goes on. We celebrate Usha as I zoom into the ears of Kalpana and Alia and see their beautiful earrings. Thank you.
We've heard her friends talk about her. Now it's time for the family. So we request Jim, would you like to be the first to start?
Speak now, yes.
Yes, please.
Let me. Hello. Can you hear me? Usha is my mother-in-law. I say that very proudly and in the present tense, because for me and my family, she will always be here. Whether we're in Bengaluru or Houston or Chicago or Florida, she will always be with us in spirit. She will be a constant, helpful, and cherished presence. Usha is a dancer. And again, I say that in present tense. I don't mean that she dances as a part-time endeavor. Similar to some might enjoy gardening or collecting stamps or playing bridge. Usha's life was a dance. Usha's with exquisite beauty, her sublime grace, and her quiet, profound intelligence was all part of that dance of hers. Those are the qualities of Usha that we all know, and I'm not going to say much more about them, but I'm going to speak of another special quality of Usha's that was important to me. Usha had a unique, sweet, and sparkling sense of humor. Her gentle, endearing, and harmless tease, and I, as her son-in-law, was often the target of this gentle tease of Usha. I have to tell you a little bit about myself. I fell in love in Damascus, Syria, a long time ago. And I fell in love with the Indian ambassador's daughter. It was love at first sight for me. For her, it took a little bit longer. But when the feeling became mutual, I asked her to marry me. And she looked at me slyly and said, perhaps, but you have to meet my parents. So I took 10 days off and flew to Geneva, where her father was stationed at that time. And it was a curious dance between between the four of us at that time. Dinner was always at her house, and it was always very choreographed. Usha watched me intently as I took that first taste of Indian food at her house. And as I finished the first few bites, she looked at me and said, "Is it too hot?" And I said, "No, actually, it's delicious, but it's not too hot." The next night, the meal got a little bit spicier and a little hotter. And she did the same thing. She watched me take a first bite, and then she looked at me intensely and said, "Is it too hot?" And I looked at her again and said, no, it's wonderful. I love it. It's not too hot. She looked a tad bit frustrated. Okay, this happened during all the 9 meals that I was there at their house. And every single one of the meals was the same. She looked at me intently as I took my first bite, and all the time the meal was getting hotter and spicier. And she looked at me as I took my first bite again, and she said, "Is it too hot?" And I said, "No, it's wonderful. I love the taste, and it's not too hot." And the last day of my stay in Geneva happened to coincide with Indian Independence Day. And the embassy had organized a boat on Lake Geneva. And I was the only non-embassy personnel there, and also the only non-Indian on the boat. And I was a bit lost and standing by myself. And Usha came up, and she had a brown paper bag. And she said, "Jim, here, try some of these." And I put my hand in, I took out about 4 of these dried chili peppers and shoved them in my mouth all at once and started chewing on them. And I took several, I popped them all in my mouth and chewed, and my eyes started watering immediately. I began to experience severe difficulty breathing. No air was getting into my constricted passages. My face was changing colors. I was grasping my throat and frantically attempting to inhale. And through this intense fog, as I looked out at Usha, she looked at me and said, "Is it too hot?" And that was 42 years ago. And I have to say the moral of my short story still remains very clear. No matter how exquisitely beautiful, or sublimely graceful, or intelligent, never trust an Indian mother-in-law with a bag of dried chilies. And to Usha, I thank you for your presence always, my sweet mother-in-law of mine. And unless Venkat objects, I want the next dance with you. Do you want to?
Well, that was really enjoyable. Is it too hot? Well, we know what to do. Right. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you so much. Alia, are you next?
Yes. The beautiful granddaughter of Usha. Ayla.
Hi, my name is Ayla.
What
But I respond to anything. Alia, Ayla.
Oh, I said Alia, is it? Oh my God, I'm
Be
sorry.
creative, go for it. Just say it in my direction so I know you're talking to me.
Sorry if that was.
No, you're okay. You're asking. Happens to me regularly. So, my grandmother has been a huge inspiration to me. And clearly, I am not alone in that. Seems that she inspired quite a few of us in this room today. But myself, I adopted her passion and belief in the arts and creativity and sharing our stories, both ancient and new, as my own calling. It's what I do. Though an artist's life is no easy path, she was a constant reminder of positivity and joy through every bump and grind of my journey thus far. Be happy. She would always tell me this in the hardest, most challenging moments. And to be honest, sometimes it was not what I wanted to hear. Looking back on it now, I realize more deeply what she was saying. Be happy. We all have the opportunity in every moment to choose happiness, no matter how challenging and at odds our circumstances may be. So today, Amma, I will choose happiness. My grandmother was a fountain of joy and giggles and light. I carry her light with me, as do each and every one of you that spent time in her radiance. May that light inspire joy and laughter in the face of darkness. This is her gift to us all. I found this copy of Rabindranath Tagore, and she chucked a couple of poems, just marked them casually in the corner. So I thought I would share one of the poems that I thought she was telling me to read. When my play was with thee, I never questioned who thou wert. I knew nor shyness nor fear. My life was boisterous. In the early morning, thou wouldst call me from my sleep like my own comrade and lead me running from glade to glade. On those days, I never cared to know the meaning of songs thou sangest to me. Only my voice took up the tunes, and my heart danced in their cadence. Now, when the playtime is over, what is this sudden sight that has come upon me? The world, with eyes bent upon thy feet, stands in awe with all its silent stars.
Oh, come on.
Thank you. And on to Kalpana.
If you would indeed behold the spirit of death, open your heart wide unto the body of life. For life and death are one, even as the river and the sea are one. In the depth of your hopes and desires lies your silent knowledge of the beyond. And like the seeds dreaming beneath the snow, your heart dreams of spring. Trust the dreams, for in them is hidden the gate to eternity. One of the things my mother kept saying was how grateful she was to be here. Grateful for your generosity, your companionship, for the seemingly effortless network of support that holds the Attashri community together. Attashri became her family. I would like to thank each and every one of you on her behalf. She will always be a part of the Attashri community in spirit, So when you look to the east, Usha, the dawn, she will always be the first light in the sky before sunrise. For me, the greatest gift was to be able to be in her loving company, sharing giggle-filled moments and dancing with abandon together in the living room. So if you find yourself missing her presence in your life, play some music and dance in her honor. Dance with abandon. Dance, and she will be dancing with you.
Thank you.